Hello everyone, welcome back to Mephisto's Corner, a podcast where we discuss the unexplainable, the paranormal, and our morbid reality. Thank you for joining us as we add fuel to your nightmares. I'm your host, ready to glare with my co-host Jacob. Today we will be covering the Denver International Airport conspiracy, or conspiracies, as the airport is subject to many bizarre conspiracy theories rather than just one.
Yeah, the conspiracy theories surrounding the Denver International Airport make it much like an onion. There are just so many layers that even the conspiracy theories have sub-conspiracy theories. It was a wacky experience diving into this topic. I like to think of it as a beginner's guide to conspiracy theories because it introduces you to many mainstream conspiracy theories. I found myself reading one theory, then an associated theory, until I forgot I started at the Denver International Airport. We have so much to cover, and we won't even be scratching the surface when you consider all the paths this airport can take you. So if you will, craft yourself a nice tinfoil hat, because it's about to get a little weird in here.
The Denver International Airport, or the DIA for short, opened in 1995 to replace the Stapleton International Airport, which was already established in Denver, Colorado. This caused some minor civic controversy, as some stated that the Stapleton International Airport was quote-unquote just fine. However, it has been noted that the old airport was outdated and inadequate for the increasing need for air travel. The DIA is more than 1.5 times the size of Manhattan and is the largest airport in North America. It was also a casual $2 billion over budget.
That's chump change.
Yeah, seriously, who needs $2 billion? One of the most commonly referred to features of the DIA is the strange art and decor within the airport, so let's get into that first, the art.
Yeah, the art seems to be a big part of why so many conspiracy theories have come from the airport. So if we refer to murals or sculptures, it's because that's where a lot of these conspiracies popped up from.
Yeah, and if you consider the art, it's such a pivotal factor in these conspiracy theories because I truly believe if the art weren't there, these conspiracy theories would not exist because the art is what makes everything weird, and when something's weird, people look into it, and then conspiracies are born. So, let's talk about the art. The most notable is the display of the 32-foot-tall fiberglass sculpture of a giant horse with creepy red eyes.
Ooh.
Thank you for that. The piece is titled Blue Mustang. Locals call it Blucifer. Other names that have been given to the sculpture include Satan's Steed, Denver Doom Horse, Blue Stallion of Death, and the Untamed Mustang of the Apocalypse. The interesting thing is that this horse actually killed its creator, Luis Jimenez. It fell on him and severed an artery and tragically brought him to his death.
I would say that's metal as fuck, but it's fiberglass.
Oh my god.
That's pretty brutal. A lot of people, when I was reading about it, they didn't want it commissioned or they didn't want it displayed at the airport because people thought it might have been cursed because it killed its creator. So right off the bat, this horse has negative connotations.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand why people wouldn't want it to be kept there because it has this ugly past, but at the same time, people could make an argument that, this is the last tribute to Jimenez's life because this is the last thing he was potentially working on, so it's a tribute to his life. It could be seen that way anyway, right?
Yeah, definitely, and people kind of say maybe it's one of the four horses ridden by one of the four riders of the apocalypse.
Right, and let's just say that should be quickly debunked because we know that the color of each of the four horses of the four horsemen of the apocalypse are white for conquest, red for war, black for famine, and ashen for death. There's no blue horse. However, the eyes of the horse are red, so some people associate this red with war or perhaps the apocalypse, as we've noted that one of the names is the Untamed Mustang of the Apocalypse.
Yeah, it's really creepy looking and it definitely has a sinister look. So if you Google the Blucifer or the Blue Mustang, you can see for yourself it is very creepy and definitely evil.
Yeah, and if you're watching or listening to this on YouTube, I'll include pictures, but it is surprising to see how big it is because 32 feet sounds tall, but when you see it, it's a whole different experience compared to how you see the airport. So, another part of the art that is maybe a little bit more interactive than the horse are the gargoyles at baggage claim. Gargoyles were common in medieval times to divert rainwater. But, more importantly, they were there to scare off evil. Fun fact is that the word gargoyle originates from the old French word gargouille, meaning throat, but which also describes the gurgling sound of water as it's coming down the downspout.
Yeah, so I love medieval times. So, in medieval times, there was a powerful belief in God, and gargoyles are said to have been used most commonly on cathedrals as a way to frighten people and to remind them that the devil and original sin still exist. Actually, the name gargoyle is often attributed to Saint Romanus, who killed a monster by the name of Goji. Goji was so hideous that it frightened off evil spirits, which I don't know why you'd want to kill something like that if it's doing, good.
Seems like the homie was on our side.
Yeah, right? It's just like, no, you ugly. You can't live.
Sad.
Sorry, Goji. The artist behind the gargoyles, Terry Allen, has stated that he feels gargoyles are good demons, and they typically face outwards to keep the bad demons out of buildings. But these sculptures are already inside. So I guess the gargoyles are protecting your shit since they're coming out of your suitcase. I think that's what he intended. But what if these gargoyles at baggage claim are meant to protect you from the evil spirits within the airport from following you home? Demons do tend to follow people home. So maybe there's some satanic activity going on in the DIA, or maybe the DIA is some sort of portal from the underground. Perhaps rituals have taken place there, like Mithras cult shit, killing goats, eyes wide shut parties.
Yeah, you're really into those eyes wide shut parties.
They even put the talking gargoyle statue in there kind of as a joke.
The talking gargoyle, I have to say, is hilarious, and if you're watching this or listening to this on YouTube, I'll put a link, but it's very funny because he's extremely interactive, and it's not just basic automations. There are moments when, for example, a woman holding flowers walks in front of him, and he's like, oh, I'm hungry, I'd like to eat your flowers. So he really interacts with the individual, and it's not just an automated response, and he's super sassy and kind of mean, and I love it. I'm
pretty sure it's someone watching and he has a microphone.
Can you imagine how cool that job would be? I can just diss people and not have a face and just be like, hey bitch, your hat's ugly, bye.
That'd be pretty awesome, not gonna lie. But I really like how the DIA seems to embrace the conspiracy theories.
Yeah, and the gargoyle, actually, I should mention, says, welcome to the Illuminati headquarters. I mean the DIA.
Yeah, as if you made a mistake. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I might include a sound clip right now.
That's a little too close for comfort, lady.
Oh, damn.
What, you never seen a talking gargoyle before? Welcome to Illuminati headquarters. I mean, Denver International Airport.
So, in terms of other creepy art, we have murals. Large, and very overwhelming murals. So, there's a Business Insider article that talks about a mural of a devil jumping out of a suitcase.
So, I see a slight connection with the gargoyles, the devil, and the suitcases. The devil is jumping out of a suitcase, while the gargoyles are being said to protect them at baggage claim. So that kind of goes with my previous theory about something satanic going on in the DIA. Could it be just a coincidence? Suitcases are obviously synonymous with airports, but I find it very strange that the gargoyles are meant to ward off evil spirits, and they're protecting suitcases in this case, and there's a depiction of Mr. Satan jumping out of one. I mean, what do you think?
If we're sticking with a moral theme and we're considering the good versus evil binary, then to me it speaks to the possibility that whatever evil we have inside us is out of the gargoyles' reach. So basically the gargoyle's there to ward off evil and not lose my luggage when I go on vacation, right? They can make sure the suitcase is not lost, but they cannot protect what is inside. It might be a metaphor that applies to humans too. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. The English major might be coming out here.
Okay, this is going to sound crazy, even for me. But you know how there are portals that are said to be gateways for paranormal beings? What if suitcases are some sort of weird tunnel system and the DIA is somewhat of a conduit?
So essentially the suitcase is the edgy boy version of the platform in Harry Potter.
Yes. What? No. No. Does that even make sense? No, but seriously, there seems to be some sort of satanic connotation, and I've heard rumors that people practice some sort of witchcraft or stuff in there.
Isn't that said about anywhere that there's any conspiracy theory? There's always like, oh, they're devil worshippers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The DIA.
This is like satanic panic type bullshit of the 90s where people were just emo and goths and weren't satanic.
Apparent practice of Satanism. That's worship of the devil. Now, police have been skeptical when investigating these acts, just as we are in reporting them. But there is no question that something is going on out there.
I don't see anything of satanic there. Like, the only thing I see here is creepy art so far.
Okay.
Have you been to enough airports? They're weird as fuck.
Not like
this one's
one.
Definitely very weird, but not weird enough to say, like,
this one.
homeboy Satan's there.
Homeboy.
Yeah. Him and I are tight.
What if we went into the bathroom and then there's just a bunch of pentagrams on the stalls?
I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit too obvious for Satan. A little bit trashy, even.
Okay. Continue.
So there's also Anubis, the Egyptian god of death, which is a very direct reference that I don't feel we need to look far more into because it's that direct. There's also a mural that was interpreted as a Nazi officer along burning buildings. One of the recurring themes in these murals is the juxtaposition of children, symbols of innocence, and death, and deadly weapons, and allusions to death, which is what we see with this supposed Nazi officer in the buildings. What I find most eerie about this art is how colorful it is. It's almost like you can hear the "It's a Small World After All" song at Disney, but instead of everyone being friends, bombs are dropping, atrocities are committed, and you're left in the pit of despair. There's an endless amount to be unpacked, really, and I feel like the more you look at these murals, the more you come up with ideas as to what they might, quote-unquote, mean.
Yeah, this one is very creepy because the Nazi has an assault rifle and a saber with this creepy gas mask, and on its hat looks like the Nazi eagle.
What I wonder when I look at this particular part of the mural is, did Hugo Boss design that outfit? You know how Hugo Boss designed Nazi uniforms? Mm-hmm. Well, I was kind of wondering whether that was part of it, because, you know, a big part of the reason that people supported Nazis, apart from the ideology, is the quote-unquote cool-ass uniforms that make them look badass. And I was recently listening to another podcast about how there were particular Nazis, and I can't remember the name right now, that were part of essentially the people who would pick who died, who had a specific different logo with like a skull. And the fact that in this piece of art it looks like there's a skull is a little bit strange.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. I might be wrong. It's just a theory.
Yeah, you guys need to Google this mural. We'll put it up on the YouTube video so you guys can see. But if you're just listening, you need to look it up and see what you make of it, because it's very interesting. This brings us to one of the main theories, and that is
Nazi New World Order. While Nazi seems to be quite the buzzword lately, here we're referring to actual Nazis, not just people you disagree with on Twitter. The first connection made to the Nazi is via the airport runways. People have observed that the runways are shaped somewhat like a swastika from an aerial point of view. If you see a picture of it, you probably won't spot it immediately. You would have to look for it.
Yeah. I mean, based on the picture online, it looks like a swastika, but only if you consider the person forgot how to draw a swastika halfway through. Because it looks messed up and distorted. It isn't exactly a swastika. And to me, it's a bit of a reach to say it's a swastika.
I agree, and the fact that you have to look for it, to me, says everything. You can probably find some semblance of a swastika in anything if you try hard enough. Like, you can probably find in the clouds, for Christ's sake. It doesn't mean that the clouds are Nazis. The only time you really can see the swastika in these runways is when there's a swastika drawn over them to trace it, which is leading your mind to see something that's not really there,
Yeah.
you know, the kind of thing you can't unsee.
Yeah, because if you follow every main line of the runways, it's obviously not a swastika.
Well, also, runways are just going in different directions, so, like, it seems unlikely to me that you wouldn't find a swastika, considering that their runway is going north, south, east, and west, potentially.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Just for convenience's sake, so it's kind of doomed to find a swastika no matter what.
Yeah, actually, we missed something. You mentioned something about at the corner of the mural.
Oh, right. So at the corner of the mural with the creepy Nazi dude, there's a letter from Auschwitz that actually says it's a letter from Auschwitz. It is the most direct connection we have to the Nazis, and that's one of the only parts that brings legitimacy to this Nazi theory, is that it literally says, here's a letter from Auschwitz, and it's supposedly from a child from the concentration camp who is writing this tragic letter.
So, I mean, as far as this conspiracy goes, where do you land?
To be honest, I think that most of this conspiracy theory is crap, but I need to say that it's also the most legitimate in the sense that there's a direct reference to Auschwitz, which is more than what we can say for most conspiracy theories. Most of the times people like connect the color blue to something completely random and people are like, oh my god, it means the apocalypse is happening. Okay, those are ridiculous, but here there's actually a solid connection to be made. There is a direct mention to Auschwitz, so if we're just looking at it logically, yeah, it's somewhat valid in that, yes, the Nazis are being mentioned. But I don't think that it necessarily is asking for a new world order, because it's so easy to flip the narrative of an art piece. The same way that we can say, oh, this is showing America submitting to Germany and letting Germany rule, we could also say, this is reminding us of what happened in the past and how we can't let these horrible atrocities happen again and that we should be grateful for what we've got. So really, it's just very easy to distort where the narrative's going, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's all art, really. It is seen differently from person to person. An artist might have an idea it wants to impose on the viewer, but at the same time, as humans, we form our own ideas, and like you said, it can be interpreted in both ways. But I want to bring something up because I just had a random thought. So during World War II, the Nazis were experimenting with, like MK Ultra kind of stuff, psychology, demonology, they're really actually interested in some of the paranormal to get, like, maybe an edge on their enemies, to try to break through into science they may not understand just yet. If the Nazis did take over the Denver airport, maybe that's why there's all this weird, random art that seems to have no connection but offers so many different ideas for conspiracies.
I mean, I don't think it would need to be the Nazis that need to do that.
I know. I'm just saying it's directing kind of maybe.
I mean, I feel like if I don't want to say if I were a Nazi, because that sounds bad. If I were the PR manager of the Nazis, I'd be like, maybe don't put a swastika. Maybe don't say this is a letter from Auschwitz, because the last thing you want to do is make it clear that you have a certain narrative, because you want to trick people, right? When you're trying to manipulate people into going into these hateful ideologies, you want to trick them and make them think they're doing something good, like they want the better good. They want fucking Hitler to fix the economy. But if you just put swastikas in from Auschwitz, most people who aren't like racists are automatically turned off because they're like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Right.
Okay, so another conspiracy theory is in relation to the Freemasons / Illuminati headquarters. Now, I want to be clear. The only reason I am using the term Illuminati is because it's become such an umbrella term rather than a specific term, and people use Illuminati to just underline the fact that something is a conspiracy theory. So really, it's more akin to the Freemasons. The Freemasons were a secret society, according to some theories, that is in control of the airport since its opening. This ties back to the idea of a new world order. The idea is that they started as stonemasons and then started a network of secrecy with their own philosophies and even rituals.
So a lot of this seems to go to New World Order.
Yeah. New World Order, to me, seems like a conspiracy theory buzzword.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just so convenient, right? Because anything could be a New World Order. Like I could say, I want to ban pink, and that's a New World Order.
A New World Order.
So there are many Masonic conspiracies out there, so we'll only briefly discuss the mysteries surrounding that society. The Masons were known for plotting against royal governments and even the Catholic Church. It seems to be an ongoing issue as there was a papal ban of Freemasonry as they're seen as incompatible with the Catholic doctrines. For this reason, many Catholics viewed Freemasonry as dangerous, even satanic, set of ideas that sole purpose was to destroy the faith. For this reason, many Catholics viewed Freemasonry as a dangerous, even satanic, set of ideas that sole purpose was to destroy the faith.
Once again, satanic. The word keeps popping up.
Okay, tinfoil. Okay.
It's my boy at work, Mr. Satan.
But perhaps that's only because the Freemasons proposed a secular government separating church from state, which in turn would take power away from the religious institutions in government. The capstone is one of the biggest quote-unquote tells people refer to when trying to validate this particular theory. There is a capstone over a time capsule that includes the Masonic symbol of the square and compass. Additionally, it reads, for the, quote, people of Colorado in 2094, end quote, which also mentions a now inexistent, the New World Airport Commission. If you Google the New World Airport Commission now, nothing of informative really comes up. However, Heath Montgomery, the media relations chief of the airport, says, the other thing that doesn't help us is that the inscription of the stone says New World Airport Commission, and people rightly say that it doesn't exist. Well, that's because it doesn't exist, but it did exist in 1994. It was a group that was celebrating the opening of the airport. It's written a little wonky. It's supposed to read the New, World Airport Commission. It doesn't help because it says New World right there.
Punctuation matters, people. Phrasing.
For an airport that was that much over budget, I'm a little bit surprised that there was this kind of fuck up and nobody was like, hey.
It's 'cause they full of shit.
It's Satan, right?
Yep. Heath Montgomery. He is the mouthpiece
of Satan.
He's the media relations chief of the airport. So naturally, he's got to be like, nah, that's just a mistake. There's supposed to be a comma there. Ha 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 ha. As soon as you turn your back on Heath Montgomery, he speaks into his earpiece. He's like, we got off code 5 red.
All right, well, moving on from the tinfoil moment where Jacob was having a stroke.
We gotta probe this guy's anus later.
Oh
he
my
knows
God.
too much.
So,
Like, I have something in my ass. Honey, can you look at my ass? I think something was put up there.
I don't think it was a probe. All right. Okay, moving on from the fever dream we all just experienced. So, another interesting part that goes with this Freemasonry crap is that we have the date of the airport's dedication. The date was March 19th, 1994. If you add 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 4. So the date without accounting for the number of the month. Conveniently, you're just leaving that out for God knows why.
I don't understand that.
You get 33.
Month don't matter.
The Masonic system has a thing called the Scottish Rite, which is a system with 33 total levels. You guessed it, the highest level is 33, and depending on where you live, it'll have a different title. Titles such as Inspector General or Sovereign Grand Inspector General. Though this to me appears like a random and meaningless coincidence, tinfoilers have also taken this to be another confirmation that there is some New World Masonic bullshit going on.
Hey, don't use tinfoilers as a slur. That is just...
I'm tinfoil shaming.
That is offensive.
I'm tinfoil shaming.
I'm so offended.
Okay.
I'm so offended. I'm gonna try to get you fired from your job.
Get me banned from Twitter for a week. So, in response to all of this, Heath Montgomery stated that the capstone was part of pre-opening festivities. It's a time capsule that's sealed with 2 pieces of granite that the Masons made. Unfortunately, people connect the Freemasons with the Illuminati and secret societies and all of that stuff. We do have 2 Masonic symbols on here because the Masons actually made this for us. It's not uncommon to have the Masons to be a part of large public facility openings like an airport. What do you think, Jacob?
It is their maker's mark, so it makes sense for them to put it there. And it would also make sense for them to be involved in stuff like airports, since they are literally stonemasons, and that's where they started. It's just the popular ideology that they have that causes the conspiracy. As you mentioned, it is the square and compass mark. If you're watching YouTube, we'll post a picture of it as well. If you're listening to the podcast, Google it, it'll pop up pretty quickly. According to ancient pages, ancient tradition says the letter G, placed at the center of the symbol, represents God and geometry. The compass represents the realm of spiritual eternity. It is symbolic of the defining and limiting principle, and is also representative of infinite boundaries. The angle measures the square, the symbol of earth, and the realm of the material. The square teaches us to square our actions with all mankind. The square also represents fairness, balance, stability, giving a foundation for building upon. Together, the compass and the square represent the convergence of matter and spirit, and the convergence earthly and spiritual responsibilities. As measuring instruments, the tools represent judgment and discernment. I really don't see anything insidious about the meaning of the symbol, partially because I barely understand it, but perhaps they are pushing an agenda. The fact of the matter, there is their presence in the airport. It is undeniable. Their maker's mark is there. They've been confirmed to have worked on it. So for me, it's not a conspiracy to say they could be pushing for some greater purpose by making this mark public.
Okay, hold the phone a second. I just reread this, and the more I reread this, the more it sounds stupid, because how in the hell is the compass, which draws circles, the Earth is put in 2D a circle, and otherwise a sphere? So why would it be symbolic of the limiting principle, keyword limit, and also infinite boundaries? Limited and infinite.
Well, consider that the area of the circle is finite, but the circle, the outline of the circle, is limitless. Because it continues and keeps going and going and going. There's no end to a circle.
I guess.
This is just really deep, and you just don't get it because you're not a tinfoiler.
I'm 13 and deep.
I'm a man of the people.
Okay, but aside from that, I think it's really stupid that the angle measures the square, the symbol of the Earth. It just seems very counterintuitive. Let me just say it seems very counterintuitive to me.
The
Their whole
Freemasons are
setup.
listening right now, and they don't appreciate it.
I want a tour of my hometown. Remember we went on that really boring tour about the Freemasons and like how they like carved shit into doors? Do you remember that?
Yeah. In turn.
And we left.
Yeah,
because it was a snooze fest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys can hear it. Like, fix your fucking Turin. Jesus.
I also like the God in geometry. Because God has a weird fetish with angles.
Maybe he's dyslexic and misspelled angels.
Oh.
That's what it was supposed to be. God and angels.
See? Conspiracies lead to conspiracies, which lead to weird conspiracies. Okay, there's something I quickly wanted to mention about the Illuminati, since we basically just covered the Freemasons, but there's also a slight nod to the presence of the Illuminati in the DIA. There is a mural depicting children celebrating the defeat of the gas-masked, Nazi-looking man we previously discussed. Some have come forward claiming it to represent the submission of America to Germany, since a few of the children appear to be handing their weapons to a boy in Bavarian traditional garb. Bavaria is a federal state of Germany. Historically, the Illuminati refers to the Bavarian Illuminati. The society's goals were to oppose superstition and religious influence over public life, but also the abuses of state power, to put an end to the machinations of the purveyors of injustice, to control them without dominating them. The founder himself was German. And sorry, Germans, I'm about to butcher this dude's name. It was a man called Adam Weishaupt. Weishaupt. You want to give it a go? Adam Weishaupt.
Weishaupt.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know, I might be wrong.
The Illuminati, much like the Freemasons, were outlawed by the Catholic Church. Obviously, now the Illuminati is much different. It may be various organizations. But based on their company line, nothing seems insidious about it. But the use of the word control does not bode well. Gotta probe that man's anus.
So, all in all, it seems like much of the art, in some subtle way, is referring to an incoming apocalypse. But in reality, the art, in my opinion, refers to the dangers of war and climate change. One of the murals specifically shows the deterioration of nature and ecosystems, so climate change is the apocalypse we are currently facing. It is a truly slow burn type of apocalypse that we see slowly deteriorating right in front of our eyes until all of a sudden shit's gone and we barely realized it was happening. That is not a conspiracy, it's a fact, but I digress.
I just want to say that's pretty well said. So everyone, get your Teslas.
Because everyone can afford a Tesla.
Turn in your gas guzzlers.
Just spend millions of dollars to make things super effective. Like, everyone can do that with the $2 billion that we all have.
Hold in your farts, because your farts are causing damage to the ozone layer. So, like, just stop it, okay? No one wants to see your farts.
Yeah, you should start with that. It's a disease.
It's a disease. I have gastro reflux disease.
So, the airport has also been theorized that it also functions as a makeshift underground shelter for world leaders in case of apocalypse. It's been said that when the airport was built, they created an underground automated system for baggage. Apparently, it never worked and was never fixed. Of course, when the airport is already over budget, maybe we can rationalize and say they didn't want to spend more money to fix it. However, I also wonder, since the airport was so expensive, surely they wouldn't want to waste all of their underground space and work and just leave it. Surely the cost is not that substantial, wherein not fixing it is more appropriate than fixing it.
So they would like to make you think.
Okay, so satanic rituals are going on down there? Is that the tea?
No, because hidden beneath the airport's underground baggage transport is tunnels and possibly a secret bunker or series of bunkers designed to house those billionaires, the world leaders, and the politically elite in the event of the apocalypse. Or, so one of the theory goes. If those are the only people left, then I'm glad I died with the rest of them. I've even read that people have theorized that this will be used as a Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA for short, concentration camp in the future when the US government will kill its own citizens. This is derivative of the popular FEMA camps conspiracy theory that says the US Federal Emergency Management Agency is planning to imprison US citizens in concentration camps following the imposition of martial law in the United States after a major disaster or crisis. Large number of citizens will be exterminated, making way for the
New World Order.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. This one makes no sense. If we're just speaking about logistics, let's leave out morals, ethics, and so forth. What sense does it make to have an underground concentration camp? That's a way to limit space, and even in terms of what we've seen in the past. Without getting too graphic, the actions taken by the Nazi camps demanded outdoor space, especially considering the number of potential deaths. Where are they going to put the bodies? There's only so much room inside a closed space. It's not like in Nazi situations where I said I wasn't going to get graphic, but if you know, you know. So unless FEMA has a revolutionary new way to torture, just based on logistics, I don't buy it. There has to be more to this theory. Hopefully that makes it make sense, because this is some bull.
Nope. There's no really theory that will point to it making more sense. It's just going to muddy the waters. But, as previously mentioned, it's supposed to house the billionaires, whatever. This alternative theory, maybe it's not meant to be a concentration camp for a mass amount of citizens, but to imprison or kill political opposition in the event of the New World Order starting to, making moves to make it actually happen.
Okay. So any type of resistance?
Yes.
I still don't buy it.
Or maybe it's like where, they have their, minions doing all the work.
Wait, doesn't the U.S. government, I don't want to get too political, but don't they already have this now? Like, what the fuck is Guantanamo Bay?
Guantanamo Bay doesn't exist anymore.
Allegedly.
This is a whole different... See, you see what I mean with this airport? It just creates all this... It's a mind-boggling conspiracy because it leads to all these weird questions. We'll just forget about this for now.
Well, also, if Jacob and I go missing, refer back to this.
Yes. I'll be sure to film with my iPhone as they're taking us, and I'll post it really quick, right before they put the bag over my head. Okay, here, wait. I have something to offer to give you more clarity and for this theory to make more sense.
I don't want it.
You don't want it?
No.
Well, too bad, you're going to get it. Many people associate world leaders and the elite with Reptoids, shape-shifting lizard people.
Also known as the guy who created Facebook.
Zuckerberg.
The Zuck.
It's the Zuck. So, with this theory, Reptoids are slowly taking over our infrastructure in world governments and apparently using our social media data to
Facebook.
Yeah. To learn from us. So, some crazy people, definitely not me, think Reptoids could possibly be behind the FEMA conspiracy. The underground tunnels could be prisons for political oppositions, as I said, or, dare I say this, the Reptoids are keeping the originals of the people they are mimicking. So down there is the real George Bush, while his reptoid counterpart is running free in Texas, which would explain why he does not know how to put on a rain poncho.
So someone saw Us and was like really inspired by it and is like, you know what? Us is an explanation. Jordan Peele explained the Reptoid thing. Oh my god.
Oh shit. That's some deep shit right there.
Jordan Peele's in on it. Confirmed.
That's why they have to ask where the real Slim Shady is, because there's two of them. One's a Reptoid and one's the real Slim Shady.
Oh, I was thinking that Us was also a fun name for USA because it's just missing a letter.
Yeah, that's confirmed to be true.
Okay, yeah, so mine makes more sense than your Slim Shady thing. When we're talking about these rain poncho, Us, double ass, Reptoid theories, my question is simple. Where the fuck do they come from? Like, who is coming up with these theories? Have they been sleeping? Are they okay? Because no. So I'm not going to try to explain specifically where these theories have come from, but where they might have stemmed from, possibly, potentially, allegedly. The contractors who originally worked on the airport reported seeing evidence of bunker entrances and unexplained tunnels. This multi-million-dollar baggage system failed to work as designed, causing many to question the intent of the scale of the construction. Even Heath Montgomery stated, "The fact of the matter is, it would take me 3 days to show you everything down here," when addressing the underground space, leaving just enough doubt for conspiracy theorists to continue to run rampant with their ideas. Or for people with their feet on the ground to be like, well, shit, Heath just said it's a really big space and that's the T. Personally, none of these theories, to me, make sense. They're all crap. I don't believe any of them. Like, not even a tiny bit.
Oh, okay, whoa. I think that you should take a step back. Some of the theories, I don't, or most, actually, all of them, all of the theories I don't believe are connected to the Denver airport conspiracy. Though I do believe in some of these conspiracies when you disregard the airport.
Yeah, but now we're talking about the airport.
I know, I'm just saying.
You think there are bunkers?
No, not at the airport.
No, not at the airport. I'm just saying generally.
No,
like, that's already...
That's the airport. The bunkers are at the airport.
Okay, so which ones do you believe then that are disconnected?
I can believe that there's conspiracies or like secret societies trying to create a new world order.
Okay, yeah, that for sure.
That's so obvious to me.
Yeah.
And I can see FEMA being something that can possibly happen in the future. Because I don't trust the government.
Well, also...
Jet fuel don't melt steel beams.
Also, we need to recognize the reality, and like I said, we're not going to get political here.
I think we already did.
Well, okay, then fine. There's the reality that there are some camps going on here, whether we accept it or not, whether it's in Europe or in the United States when people are detained.
Yeah.
The conditions under which they're kept is questionable, to say the least. So if you really want to call it a concentration camp, you can. So it's not like any of these theories in and of themselves, aside from the Denver airport, are completely inconceivable. I'm talking about them in relation to an airport, the Denver airport.
Right, okay, that's fair. But I just want to point out, people will think I'm probably crazy.
Yeah, they're right.
How can it be possible that something like Hitler 2.0 comes and creates a bunch of concentration camps and starts killing their own citizens? But I just want to remind people, history can repeat itself.
It does.
History can repeat itself. So it may seem crazy that this can happen in 2019, but the theories of FEMA and some of the theories I've read because of the Denver airport conspiracies don't seem that crazy to me. And maybe that's because I'm crazy. So.
Well, wait, if we're going in that direction, we also need to, and maybe we can make an episode entirely about this, but the fact that Hitler supposedly escaped and went fucking southern Argentina. America, yeah.
Yeah, Argentina is
I have another one with Alaska also. So he didn't just bite the cyanide he had in his mouth. No. Things went differently, apparently.
I think that would be a great future episode to talk about.
Oh my god, I'm gonna bust everyone's bubble with that one, but okay.
Why?
Because no, that's not possible.
He's dead as a doorknob for you?
Yeah.
As he should be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like with his shitty paintings. Haha, didn't get into art school, bitch.
He's so mad he didn't make it. Well, fuck that guy. Okay. That concludes our episode on the Denver International Airport. I just want to say that I appreciate all the constructive criticism and the positive feedback and even the negative feedback. We're going to learn from that. We're going to try to get ourselves on more podcast applications such as Google Play, and we've heard Overcast. If you have any other suggestions on other podcast applications, you can email us at mephistoscorner@gmail.com or direct message us on our Instagram at Mephisto's Corner.
Or if you're watching YouTube, you can also feel free to leave it down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with myself and crazy tinfoil Jacob. Anyways, guys,
let us know if you have any other suggestions on episodes we can do in the future. And send us an email if you have any thoughts on previous episodes. We are thinking of including a segment or maybe bonus episodes where we quickly talk about it for 5-10 minutes.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.